Have you ever noticed how some people sound fearless online, but you would never hear them talk like that in real life? Same person, different environment, completely different energy. So the question is, are people actually more confident now? Or did the internet just make disrespect feel safe? Because today we need to break down why people only get bold behind the screens, and then run the audit on what that behavior is really doing to the culture. At the surface level, this looks like confidence. People speaking their mind, people being real, people saying what others are too scared to say. But underneath that, this is really about distance and lack of consequence. When you remove physical pressure, social pressure, physical presence, and immediate consequences, you create an environment where people can say anything without feeling anything. That's why the same person who's respectful in person can turn it into a reckless person behind the keyboard. Because the internet doesn't just give people a voice, it gives the protection from accountability. You see it in comment sections, people calling strangers out of their name, disrespecting appearances, questioning people's worth with zero hesitation. You see it in live stream chats, people saying things they would never say face to face. And the clearest example, watch how fast the energy changes when confrontation becomes real. Same person who was loud online suddenly becomes quiet in person. Because the behavior was never confidence, it was a controlled risk. Let me give you a real life scenario. Imagine a creator posts a video, nothing crazy, just them talking, maybe giving an opinion. Now go to the comments. Somebody types, "You sound stupid. This is why nobody takes you seriously. You're not even qualified to speak on this. Just reckless." Now here's the part nobody talks about. That same person who typed that comment, put them in real life. Same room, same energy, same opportunity to say it. They don't say a word. No insults, no bold statements, no disrespect. Because now there's eye contact. Now there's presence. Now there's consequence. So what changed? Not their opinion, but their environment. Online, they had distance, they had protection, they had time to type and hide. In real life, they have to stand on it. And most people don't want to stand on what they say. They just want to feel powerful saying it. Now take that same situation and multiply it. A creator posts something, one person leaves a disrespectful comment. Then a second person sees it. Now instead of thinking for themselves, they pile on. "Yeah, this is trash. I was thinking the same thing. This ain't it." Now a third person joins, then 10 more, then 100. And suddenly, it's not an opinion anymore. It's a wave. Now it feels like the whole internet agrees, but pay attention to what actually happened. Most of the people weren't bold first. They were bold after it felt safe. Because once a few people say it, the risk drops. Now there's no accountability, just numbers. And that's how disrespect evolves from one comment into a dog pile. You see it in live streams too. One person in chat says something wild, the streamer reacts, chat starts spamming it, and now it becomes entertainment. Now the disrespect gets rewarded with attention, laughs, and engagement. So it spreads even faster. And the craziest part, half the people participating wouldn't even act like that on their own. But in a group, they feel protected. They feel justified. They feel invisible. And that's how the internet turns individuals into mobs. Now that we've explained the behavior, it's time for the audit. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this. The problem isn't honesty. The problem is cowardice disguised as confidence. A lot of people on the internet are not bold. They are not real. They are not fearless. They're protected. Protected by distance, protected by screens, protected by the fact that they will never have to stand on what they say. And instead of calling it what it is, the culture started rewarding it. We started clapping for disrespect. We started laughing at it. We started promoting people who built entire personalities off talking crazy with zero accountability. And now look where we're at. People feel powerful being disrespectful, but only in environments where they can't be checked. That's not strength. And it gets worse. Because once a few people started, everybody else joins in. Not because they're confident, but because it feels safer to hide in the crowd. So now disrespect isn't individual behavior, it's group behavior, it's mob behavior. And the platforms, they love it because outrage gets engagement, disrespect gets attention, and attention makes money. So let's be clear about what's happening. What gets rewarded gets repeated. So every time you entertain it, every time you laugh at it, every time you participate in it, you are reinforcing it. You're training the culture to become disrespectful. And I'm saying this because it needs to be said. If you can only talk crazy when there's no consequences, you're not confident. You're comfortable. There is a difference. And the moment the environment changes, so do you. Which means that behavior was never real to begin with. This isn't authenticity, it's performance. And when an entire culture starts performing disrespect just to feel powerful, that's not culture, that's conditioning. See, the big issue is what this teaches people. If someone can build a personality off being disrespectful online, they start to confuse attention with power. But real confidence doesn't appear when the screen turns off. Real confidence doesn't need protection. So now we've got a generation of people who feel the strongest when they're at the safest, and weakest when things are actually real. So be honest, do you think people are actually more confident today, or just more protected? And have you ever seen someone talk crazy online, but completely switch up in real life? Drop your experiences in the comments. I want to see how often this really happens.